Okay. We're on.
Silence.
Welcome to the Oddcast podcast with our hosts, Aaron, Little Man Badish, his brother, John Badish, Mr. Del Percio, and myself, Josh. Greetings. All right. So on the docket today, we have a wide range of topics. There's a lot of bugs out right now, actually. This is actually really intense. There's actually, I'm getting bit by mosquitoes too. Yeah. John, did you have anything you wanted to start with? Any kind of topic?
I'm going to start out with stating that Pfizer has announced a few days ago that they have received about approximately $2 billion from the U.S. government to release 100 vials of the vaccine.
100?
100 million vials.
Okay.
Sorry about that. 100 million.
It's a little bit.
Yeah, especially for 2 billion, right?
It's 100 vials to save all the billionaires. That's about it.
Yeah. At first, they will receive it, getting to that. But 100 million vials in December. And then
100 million vials.
Yeah, and then the rest of the 500 million to come after that in January, and starting in that month of next year, 2021. So December 2020, they will have 100 million vials ready for the population of the United States. So it's a staggered system, and it's still unknown, like if they will meet that goal, Pfizer. But the recent news is that the virus vaccine, and I'll show this, old school cutting here, in the UK especially too, they have the vaccine trials. But overall, all the trials have had positive results. And now they're just trying to make sure that the adverse events that people like headaches or all that.
What do they mean, John? What do they mean by positive results?
In other words, and I'll read it here, like for instance, against let's say, when they tried to use the test drug, and then they have also what they call another drug. Like for instance, they were testing against meningitis vaccine, and so that was the what do you call it, the other drug to compare it against. They found out the control, and they found out that it did cause more side effects. The vaccine, the test vaccine. For SARS-CoV-2 is what it's called, but that they were minor.
They said it just had a. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Continue.
So they found out the side effects were minor compared to the meningitis control, and but they found out that acetaminophen relieved most of the side effects caused by the test vaccine for the SARS-CoV-2. So in other words, it's minor issues that they're having when it comes to the problems like headaches and side effects that occur from the test.
So they're talking about the immune response, right? It had an immune reaction. Now, if I were to inject a lot of salt or like just cut you, it'll have an immune response too, right? So what are they saying about actual effectiveness against the virus itself?
They found it to be very effective. In other words, they found a lot of the antibodies.
They're just trying to alleviate some of those secondary reactions, right?
Yeah, antibodies created from this vaccine have been very strong and effective against the COVID-19 virus. So this is very good results that they're having. That's why the U.S. was confident enough to give about $2 billion to Pfizer for them to create a massive amount of drug by December. But still, there's a lot of hurdles that have to go through, and articles stated from experts that we're basically 1/3 of the way through. There's still like 2/3 of hurdles left between now and then.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that, right? You're expert pretty much on clinical trials, so you know that there's a lot of
red tape
things, protocol.
Protocol red tape.
Yeah.
But overall, for the trials, I mean, what looks good right now.
I mean, what do you think about $2 billion? That's all. Like, if they're giving what military gets 800 something billion a year on every, an average year now. So 2 billion. That's the thing. That's the military is meant to protect, right, our country as well as the people. So if you value protecting people, isn't that the best way you could do it in this situation? Is like should be throwing a lot more money at companies that can actually produce these.
Well, I mean,
I think it's the first runaround, right? They can only produce as fast as a certain amount, probably. Maybe they'll give a lot more, and then But like you said, this is like the first batch, I guess, right?
well, yeah. I mean, like it's hard to commit so much money to something that's still being tested and not so. I mean, it's having good results, but it's hard to give a commitment.
Not 100% yet.
Yeah, a huge commitment to it. Yeah. But it is good positive news that they have confidence to do an initial run of commitment to of money towards Pfizer. In the UK, the test drug is called AZD1222, and it's the University of Oxford. And those are the results that I was talking about with the comparing it with the meningitis vaccine. So I think on both sides of the United States and England, they're having good results of the vaccine trials, which is important. Any setback can go many months, and I think given the stage of what's going on outside the world, they would definitely need to have this vaccine sooner than later, but as effective as it can be with less side effects. And it does look positive in that result.
That's good. Now, I mean, what I was saying before was, donating. They should be giving a lot of money, much like earlier, to companies to stop what they're doing and put this as their full focus. I mean, there's a lot more hands that could have been working on these, months ago.
I agree.
And I'm sure they were already working on them. I'm just saying if they had the funding to do it. I mean, I understand their companies. Does this give you any idea or any, reason to think? I mean, do you think of that maybe that the government should have had, right? We have CDC, we have researchers that are government funded. I mean, were they getting funded to do this type of research? I don't know. I mean,
yes,
right? You have to pay a big company because they can mass produce it, right? The government doesn't have the means, like the facilities set up to mass produce vaccines. That's why they have to go industrial, right?
Exactly. And I'm going to share my screen right now just for a second to show, and can everyone see that here's the announcement of the 1.95 billion to produce the vaccine by year's end. And so you're exactly right. I mean, it's basically Pfizer has the best ability to mass produce this vaccine, and other places like University of Oxford or NIH, there are government, private funded, like you can see. Yeah, it's interesting noted here that China has militarized the effort. So they're using the Academy of Military Medical Sciences to develop their leading vaccine. And they're starting the phase 3 trials in the United Arab Emirates. So it's a worldwide, they are trying, I think there's a German firm, CureVac here. So
I remember that. Yeah, he was trying to give them money so that they would give it to us before they gave it to Germany.
Yeah, exactly.
America first. I was listening to NPR, and there was a company. It was a guy who took it over from his father when he was young. He's the CEO. Is in India, and he's already said like they're working on 7 candidate vaccines right now, and he's mass producing all of them. And he has already said whichever one proves to be the most effective, they're going to give 50% to India and then the rest of the 50% will be sent out throughout the world. I mean, how at no cost.
Yeah,
Like,
that is the problem. That most of the world, like whoever discovers or gets the vaccine out first, will probably commit first to their local, country or their environment, and then to the rest of the world. And that has been a concern. That's why they started going into other companies such as Pfizer, have a worldwide network to produce and to get it out there to the rest of the world.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of these countries where companies are worldwide, but don't, they have their base, in another country. So it's like, where does do they have to have specific loyalty to a specific country? I don't know. I think the whole world should have been working together on this vaccine production and already had this in agreement, and everybody should know about it. So it's not like when the vaccine happens, everybody doesn't know what's going to happen. We shouldn't be building anticipation. It's like the whole world should have a plan. I guess this is the ideal utopia, but
yeah, to me,
we should know how it's going to get distributed. Yeah,
it's almost like the International Space Station. Like, it's got to be a global, everyone work together event, and not try to keep secrets or keep manufacturing. That's why I think they're trying to. What's interesting too, though, is the fact that I think out of this 2 billion, 500 million Americans would receive the vaccine for free. It's $20 a dose. It would need emergency approval by the FDA, and I'm just trying to see if it's strictly for America. But
I see that. So they promised to do 600 million, but the first 100 million is just that that's how they're getting that $20 a dose. So that 2 billion is only for the first 100 million, and then they would have the rights to acquire more. So they're going to have to pay another 5 times that. So 10 billion on top of the first 2 billion to get it.
Yeah, and right now,
which is not that much when you think about they just put trillions of dollars out, and right. So 10 billion is nothing now.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so right now they're just looking at safety and efficacy trials beginning this month, phase 3. Regulatory review set for October, although nothing was guaranteed. But I guess on the initial outcome of the data, which is positive, the United States government is given this commitment of the 1.95 billion for the 600 million total. So there's still hurdles to go, but looking good. Right now, if any setback would have put it up for months later, before December or January. But so far, so good. But like stated in other articles, we're about 1/3 of the way through, and any hurdles can happen, but still positive news. So I'll stop sharing on that. Get back to you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to leave there. I'm sorry.
That's all good.
I'm sorry, I missed that. All right. I didn't see where we ended off. I should let you keep talking.
Oh yeah, but on we just finished off. I was just talking about basically what we talked about. Like, Pfizer is going to try to mass produce this, but there's still a few hurdles to go. And now another.
All right, How about that Washington football team?
Yeah, this
Washington football team.
Yeah, and this is interesting too. Let me see if I can get that on. So over here, let's see. Okay, Washington football team. Can you see the screen? So today was an interesting day for NFL. There's going to be a team in Washington.
Didn't bring up.
Okay. Do you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's going to be a team that's basically called the football team for a full year in 2020.
Love it.
So Washington, they got rid of their nickname, Washington Redskins, because of the moniker. The name was deemed something that minorities and also a racial slur dictionary wise. So they got rid of their nickname, retired it, but they're keeping the colors of the team, and they will call themselves the Washington Football Team. That is the new nickname, football team. And so
That's like temporary, right? For like
For a
the
year.
interim
for
for a year.
Yeah,
For a
for
year.
a season.
Solid.
Yeah. Though I think it'd be fun to have it for permanent. I mean, this would be the logo: Washington Football Team, established in 19.
Well, I mean, that's how the soccer clubs are called, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's the soccer clubs are called the New York Soccer Club, stuff like that. So yeah, I don't see any problem with that. Actually, let me see down here in this article, they showed the uniform would be the same, except the number would be located on the helmet there, and the name Washington would be right there. That's about it. It's almost like like Alabama.
Do they have a mascot?
I don't
No,
know.
no mascot.
I think they're still working on it. But
Just be a football.
Yeah, it's like a little football that bounces around. I mean, yeah, I mean, you could,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it.
I mean, there's not going to be any fans
Maybe a
in
walking,
the state.
maybe a walking number or something like that. You know, to represent the number on the helmet. You know. But I think it would be awesome to reach the Super Bowl this year.
Sky's the limit with
Literally
possibilities.
a
Yeah.
football, and then like some.
Aaron, we
silhouette
can't hear you very
fans.
well.
What do you mean?
I can't hear you.
Your volume's pretty low.
What? Is that better?
Damn, dude. That's
A little
perfect.
better.
Cool.
Perfection. Well, I think it's a quality name. I think it's
I
it
agree.
gets to the point. It is very direct, but it's
It's interesting too because the Washington Football Team will be playing against the Philadelphia Football Team. Week 1, Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, hell yeah.
mm.
Well, so what do you think? More Washington Redskins merchandise was sold before they canceled it from Amazon, or Confederate flags? What do you think sold more?
Probably Confederate.
That's a tough one.
Well, they're still keeping the General Lee. Thing you're in a museum located in Chicago.
The car?
The car, yeah. They're still
Yeah, I had when I was a kid, like seeing that show, like I had no idea. I was like, "That's a cool orange car," you know. And
Mhm.
then I was like, "Oh, okay." Now, I mean, but it took like I didn't understand that. So I was quite a bit older.
Mm.
Unfortunately,
there are some interesting
about that in
nicknames
school. Man.
they do want to do for Washington. I'm not sure why they didn't choose any of them because they were like Washington Red Hawks, Washington Red Wolves, and then there was Washington Warriors. So they had some interesting names. Red Tails was based on Washington Red Tails, and Red Tails would have been based on a fighter pilot group that was strictly, African Americans that fought in the World War II. So they weren't thinking all these names, and they had about a couple weeks, but this is the best they got.
What weren't they called? Red Tails, right? Why were they called Red Tails? The African American fighter group.
I'm not sure. I didn't go deep into that history. I do know that their logo was basically like a bird with a red tail. It was part of the logo on the planes, but why exactly they chose that, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I am.
But I saw like the uniforms and the different designs that they were trying for the different names, and they all look pretty cool actually. And if they keep the colors like this, burgundy and gold, then it should be good. Quality of the team, that's a different story. That depends on the owner. But as you can see, they've had a lot of issues with the owner the last 20 years. I'm hoping though that they can get a good, cool name, and But football team, I actually find it pretty funny. It'd be pretty cool to call because the announcers, like the last few years, to protest the nickname, have been calling them the Washington Football Team. So now they can actually call them the Washington Football Team.
I think they'll sell a lot of merch too, just because it's so
It
goofy in a way.
Yeah,
but
it's
like,
only for 1 year, supposedly.
yeah, so it's gonna be like a collector's item. People be like, "Hey, remember that time when the Washington was just called the football team?" And you have like a jersey. So I could see people buying stuff.
And now the running joke is like, "What's your favorite football team?" The football team.
Yeah.
Oh, no, seriously, what is it?
For like the meme of it, I'd assume people might, they'll get behind it. Is there a lot of backlash though? Is there a lot of people upset about this name though? Did they feel like there should have been another choice, or I haven't really followed? Or people like seem accepting of it, or
well, what they're
it's kind of early.
Yeah, what they're trying to say is that they want the fan input and more time to figure out. And,
Yeah.
they have like a couple weeks to decide. So you do the things, but yeah, I think you win or lose because it's so close to the start of the season that
It's temporary.
Yeah, if you put a full name, a lot of fans might say, well, you didn't give a chance. But the ones that were thrown out were pretty good to me, like Warriors, Red Tails, Red Wolves, all of it. And I saw the designs that they were thinking of them, and it looked pretty good. So it is a sudden shift, though, because, like I said, they went with this moniker since 1932. But the original owner, like they said, Preston Marshall, like he was the last person allowing African American players since they were allowed in 1948 to have integration, and it was until 1960. So he's the one that created this nickname since 1932, and little back and forth on it. But if they do it right, then it should be fine.
Why don't they ask the public? Is that what they're doing? Or they should go? I mean, if you really want to make amends, if they feel like what they did is wrong, and that's why they're changing it for the right reasons, then they should be.
Well, they're not changing it because of that. They're changing it because the sponsors started.
Well, that's bullshit then.
Out, because Dan Snyder, the owner, back in 1913, said he would never change the nickname for Washington Redskins, and then FedEx. I remember. Then FedEx, who owns the naming rights to the stadium, said we want to pull out, and also other sponsors wanted to pull out 2-3 weeks ago, stating about the nickname, and that's when Dan Snyder said, "Okay, I'll change the name," and that's why it's kind of late in the game that he changed the name. And a lot of people are complaining that he should have changed it a while ago and given head time. And should have known that, people would eventually come. It would come down to this with sponsors pulling out, and even some of his minority owners, wanted to sell their part of the team. So, there's just a lot of factors. The owner has issues, culture issues within they had recently, as of last week, been sexual harassment claims against a lot of upper management in the Redskins. And honestly, I'm not even sure why they're still sticking with this owner. I mean, like, he's trying to change, but it's just been going downhill for this football team, or the football team. Mm-hmm. I think they should actually call it Washington Football Team Established 1932 every time. That'd be pretty cool, just like this logo here. So this will be an interesting football year, I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah, he's not the only one with sexual harassment that came out last week, right? The whole all those Fox News hosts, your boy Tucker Carlson, Josh.
Tuck
did it?
No, you don't say. What happened to my boy Tuck? I missed out on little Tucky.
I remember hearing you and him go way back.
My little bow tie? I know he had a racist that was doing all his writing on his show that was exposed on one of the boards for posting like really racist stuff, and he fired, and he went on vacation on a Tuesday. I didn't know about the sexual harassment.
Oh, no, that just broke 2-3 days ago, man.
Oh, I missed. Damn. Is it
He's
like
not the main
juice?
one though.
Oh, wow.
Like there was like 3 of them, I think. 3 of their people at Fox.
I mean, Fox is like a cesspool of that stuff. I mean, all the big dogs like Bill O'Reilly. There's been a lot of people that have been caught. So I'm not surprised. But was there any other big names? Was there a Sean Hannity on that or no? There's no. There's no Sean.
She didn't complain against the bow tie.
I don't think Trump's complaining when Sean Hannity's kissing his ass.
Yeah, I got to give credit to Fox News though with that Chris Wallace interview, because I feel like he at least did a pretty good job, grilling Trump recently. So I mean, I guess he's kind of independent from the rest of the Fox News crew to some degree. But.
They were talking about that on Young Turks, and they were saying how Christopher Wallace, it seemed like a hard interview because Trump's interviews are so softball that even like a mid-range interview, it seems like it's tough on him.
Well, I mean, it's just the fact that he was literally fact checking him like on the spot. Though it was kind of funny because
I mean, but he was saying some things, and he was just like, okay, I agree or whatever. I mean, I understand. Yeah, you can't be
Well,
disagreeing.
he never really agreed. I mean, Chris Wallace is like a robot in the sense that he just tries to be the most objective, centrist kind of, even though he definitely leans, I would assume, Republican, like fiscally conservative, I would assume his
I
belief.
respect him, I guess,
But yeah, I thought he did a decent job for that interview. I mean, it's not the comparison, but I saw like the Joy Reid has her own show on MSNBC, and she had Joe Biden on. And it's not the same because Joy Reid is like an opinion host that's not trying to be objective. But she just had like a softball throwing, questions at Joe Biden. I just was curious if Joe Biden could handle that kind of level of interrogation. Because but Trump is so good at lying on the spot that it's a natural. That just, even though people can tell he's just BSing his way through a conversation, Trump's confident though. Like he's probably, and his base is just like, yeah. But like Biden, I feel like I've seen so many videos of Biden being asked like simple questions and getting like frazzled about it. So
right.
I'm interested to see what happens when Biden gets kind of grilled on like even on like a somewhat level.
That first debate is going to be the highest ratings ever on television.
Yeah.
The first debate.
Oh yeah. It'll be interesting. Though granted, I'm saying like Trump is, I think, better in that lane. I guess when just if they bring it down to the mud, I don't know. I'll be interested to see. I'm not imagining much policy discussions per se.
I don't think the debate's going to matter, man.
It's going to be personalities just yelling at each other. It's just going to, it's really not.
The debate is not going to change the outcome of the votes. I don't believe so. People already.
I don't
He's
know.
not going to convince anybody that wasn't already decided.
No. I mean, I'm hoping it's seeming positive. I mean, just the even Fox News' poll numbers, even on the economy, Biden is beating Trump, which that was the one thing I was surprised with. Like it was like almost every stat. I thought that was, I don't know. I mean,
Aaron,
I guess
what are your thoughts, Aaron?
I hear you guys. I'm listening.
He's a trumpeter, but we don't push him too hard.
He is wearing red.
Yeah.
Not.
If you think about it, we got like what 3-4 months left, and November's around the corner. I mean, like, so it's gonna happen fast,
Yeah, I mean, things can change. The temperature of politics can change. I mean, but I don't know. It's just not looking good for him, which is it's good for me. But
dude, things are not looking good in California, man. Did you guys get put back on different restrictions, Aaron?
Yeah, it kind of everything went back to closed. Everything's pretty much closed.
It sucks.
Last 2 weeks
Right.
or so.
It's appropriate. Yeah, you guys are like your trend is super high slope.
mhm.
Yeah, I know. The same with Florida. It's crazy.
I heard in Florida that they plan to still open schools next month in August, and there's a big backlash on that. I don't think they have any proper protocols in place.
Oh man, yeah. As soon as somebody gets sick, like a teacher gets sick. I mean, the kids are just one part of school. Like there's so many other people in school.
Florida, they believe that it's okay for the kids to get sick. That's what they're saying. They're not going to get very sick. That's what they believe.
Yeah. I think the governor said that.
Even though it'll make the teachers sick, and then the kids will make all their families sick. But they don't go that far in their thought process.
It's a huge responsibility on the teachers to take care of like this whole issue. I think more than they bargained for, and I think there were a few protests from teachers in Florida.
They trust them.
I mean, it's a shame, dude. It's like those bus drivers, man. It's everybody, dude, that has to risk their, like the bus drivers that are picking them up, then they're going to have to do multiple trips because they can't fit as many kids on the buses right now, right? Because they're going to social distance on the buses to all the administration.
How do you do the contact tracing at that level too? I just wanted to ask.
Nah,
How do you do contact tracing every day at school and then where those people are going, and then where those people are
You're taking
traveling, because they're
temperatures.
traveling to other states too, right? So they're, I mean, people
Well,
like
I
still.
can attest that my cousin lives in Maryland. He has a few kids that they won't start school until January of next year. So they're already stating that school for them, their school system, high school system, will open in January of 2021. And
Oh,
they're not.
so they're not going to be like their summer break is extended all the way until.
I heard virtual classes. They're going to do virtual classes from September to.
Okay, so school doesn't start. You're saying okay, so it's starting still in their same time.
It's still starting. It's just
It's still
it's going to
starting,
be
but it won't be on site.
Virtual.
right at the
it's
height
still
of
school though.
right?
That's still school at least.
I mean, this is just tentative dates.
Right.
Mhm. But what's the
do you
argument
mean?
to open everything up, though? Do you think? I mean, what's the argument to have all the schools open up? Is it more of like an economic argument, I guess, for like people having to go back to work and they don't want to have their kids at home? Is that like I'm trying to like what is the like, what's forcing people to have to open the schools up? I don't know.
I heard like some arguments are that it's essential to have the kids start and have real schooling would be on-site schooling, personal, and more of the educational side of the effectiveness of education.
Well, they're also talking about social health too, or the health of them, right? Mental stability of kids. That's what the argument is.
I was just because there is probably plenty of valid arguments to have this discussion. I was just curious. I always hear like daycares. I know they need to be open for some people that have to work and they can't have their kids at home, so there has to be a place where they can go sometimes in certain situations. I wasn't sure if that was an argument that was being used for.
Our daycares
school.
are open here.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
of them.
Yeah, a lot of daycares, in this area are open to a certain level of capacity. But I think a lot of people, still are wary about dropping their kids off. But
And that's the other thing about sports. Like we were talking about baseball. It's the first day today that baseball's starting, and what is it, July 23rd? So July 24th, opening day for Friday. I don't think they were going to have any fans on site.
do they have like Madden NPCs in the background, so there's no one in the audience though, right? They don't have like a.
It's funny. I saw a picture. They actually have photos of certain fans in the background. So like I think there was one company that they put the faculty staff members back behind the Yankees. Maybe essential workers like AstraZeneca or something like that. They would have certain members like photographed faces put up behind them. So I guess virtual fans, if you will. It's going to be a very interesting
They
thing.
just put iPads everywhere.
iPads, yeah. Everyone's virtual.
Everybody zooms in.
Yeah, everyone zooms in.
I heard they're going to be pumping in crowd noise.
That would be interesting.
I heard they were going to do that.
If a sitcom can have a laugh track, I could see a sports
football.
game having like yes.
Yeah,
like that.
football's going to do that or something. They're going to have it from the video game. That's what I heard. I heard something like they're going to link up with some of these video game makers. So, like, they'll have crowd reactions and stuff.
Let's just have mic up like some really drunk dudes at a bar and just
I
get
think
their
the-
commentary in the background or something.
I think the players should wear a virtual helmet. That'd be pretty cool. Make it look like
yeah.
they're playing.
I'd pay a ticket for that, and you get mic'd up with them, and you can do it.
Yeah. In basketball, they're playing in Orlando. They're playing in Orlando in a bubble or something that I heard. There's going to be a specific, way that they do it to keep social distancing while they're playing basketball. So I think, and then ice hockey, National Hockey League, is starting August. Everything's like the rest is starting August 1st. Basketball and National Hockey League, and I guess baseball started today. So they're starting up in their own ways. How long they can play and how effective, we'll see. But they have special formats, and everyone's signed off on it, and certain ways that they're going to go about it in the shortened seasons to try to get champions and make it like a.
What about? I want to go back to the helmets. I think one of the biggest things of playing at an opposing field's, like an opposing team's stadium, is that fan noise, right? Right, the 12th. They say the 12th man or something, right, on the or whatever. But that would be great if opposing teams were forced to have like a certain volume in their headphones, and then like everybody, like you get sign on to the website and get on, and then you could just yell into it, like so they have to hear it, like to mimic yell. But, it can be turned down a little bit, but
Yeah,
maybe
the teams can taunt each other. Like as someone's batting, the other club can yell from the from the bench area or whatever they're from.
like
And,
little.
yeah, like scream. Yeah, you run. Runs better swing. Just do little things like that, like the good old days of the 1920s.
Yeah. My 10-year little league career was every game was like that with like 5 people in the stands.
You can hear their voices, dude.
Yeah,
Definitely.
just parents.
Okay. You think not having fans is going to change the
Aaron,
way people play, though? Do you think?
If you
Or
like playing the game, you play the game, man. If
Yeah,
they
yeah.
really like it, they'll still want to play.
Aaron, you
No,
played
because
baseball.
UFC. What?
You played baseball. I remember that when you were a kid.
Yeah,
Did you have like fans?
short-lived.
Short. I told you.
Yeah,
I think you had a perfect last.
but
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, UFC is already doing it. There's other sports that have they're already doing their thing without. Oh yeah, WWE. They're doing it without any audience members or anything like that. It's just
That one
it's
would
like
be
a
a little
small.
tough.
That one is tough.
Wrestling is for the fans, right? So them doing
Really for the fans. So it's a lot of people they're getting a backlash because it's kind of cheesy looking without that. I mean, it really is about the
I don't
fans.
like their thing, man.
Well, I mean, like instead of like
'Cause
fake-
they're acting and trying to rile up like there's no one around and talking shit on each other, but it just I guess the audience to
it would
me
be like a
covers
Trump
up the-
rally with nobody there.
there
and
you
that
go, yeah.
did
Like
happen.
Tulsa.
They could do your mama jokes while they're fighting each other in the your mama.
But I wanted to say one thing though about what you were talking about, Ryan. That would just for a second about the schools, and then you were talking about daycare. But I would consider daycare more of an essential than school, like as in person school. You know what I mean? Obviously, daycare we don't have robots to take care of kids right now, so they have to be in person to do it. But the schools, they don't have to do that. There's definitely enough.
You're saying there's alternative options, like to do virtual, but you can't do virtual daycare.
Yeah, exactly.
like people treat
So
education because I mean kindergarten to like first. I mean that is like almost like a daycare for the parents though. Like it's an extension.
Can't be alone. It's
Daycare
illegal.
to school, it kind of just flows together. So that I don't know. Like,
It's illegal to have somebody who's younger than 12 home by themselves in Missouri. I don't know what it is in your states now, but
wow.
isn't that like I never like think about it. Some kids up until 10, depending on their weight and size, still have to be in car seats.
Yeah.
Booster seats.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual policy is though here. I mean, there's a term with the latchkey kid. Someone who just like comes home and their parents aren't home or something. But like, I don't.
But that's what I mean. Like they're not allowed to even be home. So maybe like I don't know, but that plays a role in it. So one parent has to say both parents are working, and your kid has to be home to do their virtual school. So one of you has to be there legally. What do you do? Who chooses who? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's why it does bring up questions of
9
stuff.
months for 9 months.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I'd break the wall, I guess. Depends on how old. If it's like a mature 10-year-old, I'd be like, all right, bro, there's some lasagna in the oven. If you wanted some snacks and stuff, got some Cheetos. I'm gonna be back by 2 or 3. I don't know. I'd be like, okay. I mean, I guess it depends on the age, maybe. Yeah, if it's like a
7-year-old, dude. Say you got like two. You have a
Right,
7-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Okay, I don't think that conversation comes into play then. I guess on that, but
Well, you both are only making $35,000. You both have to work.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
That is a tough one.
And so you switch your shifts, man, because everybody else is trying to switch their shifts too to the evening shift, right?
Mhm.
So they can do vice. One parent comes home and then the other one goes to work. So now both your parents aren't seeing each other, and when they are home, they have to be there like while you're in school, right? Or
But how old can you be at like a daycare? Because I know I know some people that have their kids that maybe after school they would go to the daycare to get picked up. So sometimes some daycares like will have maybe programs for kids that are maybe just getting into school. I guess that would only cover maybe a specific range of ages or something, though. But I'm not sure.
stuff, man.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Do we do nationwide border schools? And every school's in their own bubble, and kids stay there overnight, just like a military school, an academy.
Mhm. I guess it's very much for the essential workers, though, because again, a lot of people can work from home though right now, so it's like kind of okay.
Are we all
No.
working from home, or we're all home based?
No, I'm saying
not
you
for-
are an essential. There's a lot of essential. The majority
Yeah.
of people are essential workers.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know that number for fact, but I think it's true. I bet you the majority of people are essential workers. I mean, every company has essential workers, and there's like I'm saying, even fast food places, they are considered essential workers because they remained open. Grocery stores, right? These are all essential workers.
Mhm.
That's what do we have the majority of? Like, is grocery stores, fast food joints in this country?
Yeah, retails. Well, I mean, I
Retail.
guess retails. I guess that's debatable. What was
Well,
essential?
gas
Yeah.
station. Truck drivers. I mean, there's a lot. All the delivery, right? Post office, UPS, FedEx.
And don't forget, GameStop has been trying to say that they are
Walmart.
workers,
Sorry, GameStop.
especially when the PlayStation 5 comes out in November. It will be essential worker time.
Yeah, for like a day. Everybody goes and gets like bum rushes into each other.
GameStop's open now, right? I assume so. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of those places are, like minimum. Well, I guess it depends on the state too, but or whatever phase you're at. I don't know. Like for here, I assume it's one of those,
I guess
3 or 4 people at a time in the store or something.
I guess there's no GameStop in California open right now. That's probably where they need
No.
it.
I don't know. I haven't been to one in a long
Aaron
time.
doesn't have internet access either. He can't tell what's going on in the outside world sometimes, but he just got it connected right now. So
Aaron, is that it looks like a tarp covering a window behind you.
he's got sound. He's got little. Yeah.
That's
Burn,
actually
bro.
a bed.
Can you hear me? No, it looked like a tarp covering a window.
It's just a bed. Look.
It folds out or it drops down on the ground.
Oh, it's like a mattress sitting on top of the couch.
Behind it. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, my bad.
I like it. It's sparse, but it's got, it's gonna say
Gotta
quality
put it
to it too.
somewhere.
Are you gonna put the little sound panels up and stuff? He's gonna.
It's nice.
Yeah. That's the next plan.
Gotcha.
Next plan of attack.
Yeah, I agree
That's
with
cool.
Aaron though. It's definitely different. Daycare and schools are different. Different things there.
What?
Yeah.
Gotta treat them differently.
I mean.
Yeah, but again, also, I still feel like they're kind of similar, but. Debate me, bruh. Debate me. Yeah.
Say what you guys were gonna say. You both stopped talking. I didn't hear either one of you.
I think there was a rumble that was going to go on.
I'm trying to get antagonistic a little bit on this show, so trying to start some fights, something. All right. Well, maybe next time I'll
I don't know how
start.
passionate I am about it. I mean,
I was feeling
No, we were starting to. Yeah, we're.
I just don't have like
at
kids,
least
so it's like.
I don't
Rumble
need
on
to stir one about this subject.
a rumble on daycare.
If I had a kid,
Just think back when
No,
you
it really.
I have friends that still had we kept our kid who's 19 months out for just 1 month, and then put him back in, and for many reasons like socialization and everything, and I live in
socialism. You said socialism.
you a commie, bro?
yeah, dude.
You
'cause that's
Russian?
They got socialized.
what society's about. We put him back to the commune. So, but I have friends that still have their kids out. So they've been with their kids since like April, May, June, March, April, May, June, July, right? So almost 5
Yeah.
months.
You need to tell us, because I don't know how things go on in St. Louis, in the Midwest. So
No, I know you don't, man. It's a whole different. I'm out in a different country, man. But anyways, yeah, it's a good point though. So
Interesting. Well, does that wrap up this topic? Anyone else got any little nuggets of wisdom they want to drop?
no,
Aaron looks like he's got something to say, though. I don't know.
I think he's boiling.
he does have something he got to
It's
say.
just like his wise. I don't know.
I'm gonna turn on my lights out here.
Gosh.
End with like a haiku or some wisdom. I don't know. We done? Or
I mean, maybe with the recording stuff, yeah, we can stop it.
Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
look at the lights
Mine's
flashing
not
off and
even
on.
there.
I like it though. It's got a cool little. That could be the
Yeah,
ending.
LED lights.
Yes.
That's tight.
Which will actually, for our next topic, is going to be about contacting aliens. Alien contact.
So yeah, let's
uh,
talk about aliens.
Yeah,
Like-
talking about
like-
some aliens.
Like butt stuff, or just like science, and what we gonna get into?
We're
Let's
gonna
talk about
talk it
aliens
all.
and other
We're gonna talk it all.
There has to be a part of the conversation, at least at some
Yeah.
point.
We're talking about the probe.
That could be your
Yeah.
Subject for it. Yeah.
I'll do some
Bring up the
extensive
probing.
research and try to bring in some credible sources
Probing.
of individuals that have gotten, probed. Because a lot of times, someone who's gotten probed once has probably been probed many times. There's some reason I feel like aliens target specific individuals to get probed, many times. So I will bring that information to you guys
There's a
next
lot
time.
of I mean, most animals smell the other animal's butt, and that's how they get all that information from them, right?
That's
Yeah.
what we're doing.
What they're eating, where they're going, where they've been.
You could tell a lot from a person. I mean, that's true.
That's what
It's
Josh does. He sniffs his ass all the time to figure out
We'll be
who
talking
who
about.
his companionships are.
We'll be
He's a
talking
highly
about
evolved primate.
our
He
attempts,
sniffs his
our
ass.
attempts to communicate with alien life and whether we should do that, i.e., the probing.
Yeah.
So we will see. So hit that like button and subscribe to Oddcast podcast, and we'll see you soon with our next topic. Thank you.
Yo, 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 yo. Your
Yeah.
boy. Yeah.